Hey, what's up, folks? It's Clay, the author here, and it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah, today's video is going to be talking about my character, right? In the drive from work I decided, what the heck, we'll do a character deep dive. And so what I did is I got a little carried away and did a bit of a world introduction smashed into the middle of my character deep dive. But yeah, so let's just get right into it, right? I'm just gonna give you a premise real quick for what the world is and what I'm trying to do, what my goals are for it, and then I'll switch the video over and we'll start looking at a bunch of the drawings I've done, and we'll discuss the character breakdown, right? So it's called Salvage, right? The That's book one. The world is called, the series is called the Steel Earth Saga, and the idea is that the world's kind of just covered in trash, as it were, which is leftover mechs and machinery and manufacturing equipment, right, from all of the wars that have taken place over the few hundred years, most specifically the Pharma Wars. And yeah, right. There was a space race. So yes, the bubble drive is invented, which is a quantum slip drive, right, which creates bubbles around the yeah, right, quantum bubbles, where it takes quantum entanglement, right, and then with paired, you know, quantum particles, you have, A over here, B over here, A over here, B over here. And the idea is that the size of the thing being transported, right, is what dictates how long it takes to get there, not the actual distance, right? So you have these wars that take place over a MacGuffin, like super stem cell style particle, right, that is found on certain planets once this bubble drive, gets going and people start exploring and doing vacations out there and, yada yada, right? But it can take, anywhere from 12 to 72, maybe even more hours, I'm thinking, to move some of these ships. Because I'm hoping that an idea makes sense for once this quantum field is stabilized, or subatomic field is stabilized, they then, just instantaneously switch places with the matter in the two spots. Anyway, oh, I have cats being crazy. Always cats being crazy. I have like a 3-year-old cat, and he's just a bastard. And he knows I'm doing something right now, so he's literally on the shelf tearing things apart. Anyway, just a sec. I haven't even had my morning coffee yet, guys, so this is I'm doing it. Thank you for watching then, by the way, because, yeah. So, the slip drive is invented. People go out into the universe. They conquer all kinds of stuff. There's some stuff with aliens who are subatomic / quantum particle subspace aliens that I am still kind of working my way around and with, and whether or not, because I wouldn't bring it into this first book at all. It doesn't have anything to do with this, is like whole world backstory stuff that doesn't matter. But that would matter later on in later books. So I might have to plant seeds for this kind of stuff, right? Which is why I think about this. Anyway, that's what's left over on the planet, and I want to have things break down because the space travel somehow either degrades subspace and creates turbulence, such that areas become untravelable after a while. Once you keep switching out, matter, it starts to get non-localized, and yeah, so it creates quantum turbulence, and then you can't go to an area more than a few times, and so then, these areas start to just become no-go zones because your travel is not prohibited, it becomes randomized or something, right? I have to figure out what I want that to be too, right? So anyway, so I'm trying to add a little bit of hard science-ish kind of, whatever, or believable sci-fantasy to it. And that's that. You start the world, you start the story in a world where nobody really cares, right? Where everything's sort of broken down, everybody's kind of given up. They've already gone through their Mad Max, right? They've done their Mad Max thing, and now they are on to the realization that all it takes to survive in life is to go out into one's proverbial backyard, fix a food replicator, and turn it on, right? Basically, the whole world is a pull-apart yard, right? A pull and pick, construction, car lot. So we've got two characters who start the story. One is Janus Thornback, who is the main character, right? And through later stuff, they end up being a cybernetic super soldier, right? The cybernetic part happens from an accident that rips their arms off, melts their whatever. And then, they're born as a super soldier, part of a failed experiment for these super soldiers to learn to procreate or gain the skills, whatever, to procreate. And they're born with genetic deficiencies, defects, and so they are left Spartan style in a city called New Gamora, which is where Yoshiro Bergman comes in, and Yosh is the best mechanic on the planet, right? In the hemisphere around, right? He's just, the best mechanic. And so they are a super soldier raised by a super mechanic in a world where, battle mechs are what you do. Their shortcomings being that they're, a shitty 19-year-old who doesn't realize that life is super, complex. Anyway, yeah, that's that. Without further ado, we'll go down to the desk and start looking at pictures. And oh my gosh, I didn't even notice my keyboard's. Thanks for being on my shelf, guys. All right, let's get this video started.
There we go. All right, so these are just some of, I bought this sketchbook actually specifically, right, because I've never actually used a natural paper sketchbook before, and I bought this one specifically for the task of character development and trying to kill two birds with one stone, get a pen and ink style down where I'm not using any pencil, but then also, just get the juices flowing, right? I mean, get some interesting character development going here. So the premise of the character is that backstory here. So I call them the squid for now because they have, oh gosh, I'm not going to get this word right. It's like chromatophoric, I believe. I'll have to look it up and link to the actual word down below. It's the skin that you use to change, that they have that allows them to change, right? Color and texture and that sort of thing. And so they are part of the super soldier clan race, whatever we call them, experiment. That's what they're called. They're called the squid because they have this skin that allows them to do this thing. Anyway, they were born without eyeballs as part of the squid's later attempts at controlled procreation after abandonment, of the engineered army that they were, right? Everybody runs out of money. They all get killed. And then, sorry, I'm moving the camera there. But anyway, they were born without eyes, and so were chucked into the street because, that's what Spartans do to the weak and the, etc., right? Just don't worry about it. Obviously, whatever genetic, freaks. Anyway, I can't really figure out why they wouldn't just give them new eyeballs, but I'm trying to figure that out. So that's why they only have one working eye. It is in fact a wet tech or cybernetic eye that Yosh installed in them when they were younger. And yeah, anyway. they can only ever find one at a time. It seems to be just kind of like a running gag, right? That they can only get one working eye at any given point. I'm trying to make it like a humor point, but it's a little dark, so we'll see how that ends up going, right? Yeah. And yeah, so this is the one that I'm the most proud of that's actually starting to blend, getting a drawing style together with, a bit of actual good character design. But this is what this drawing led me to realize, and why I'm doing the one on the right here. It's a little more, anime than I would like, but it happens to my style every so often if I'm not paying attention, so I may have to redo the face. But it made me realize that chronologically, what the character is wearing now and where they're at and what they're doing is from the beginning of the book, which they didn't have the cybernetic arms for. And so I'm kind of mixing my metaphors, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'm mixing my timeline for the character, which is where you can see the character on the right has their arms still. And yeah, and so that's kind of a point. Oh, plus I think I want to bring fanny packs back, but that's an aside. So yeah. So if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm realizing that the character, not over the past few days as I've been doing these art pieces, that the character, it's Sarah Connor, right? It's later years Sarah Connor, but it's still Sarah Connor. And yeah, so anyway, that's kind of fun for me, because actually I didn't realize what a big influence Sarah Connor was on, my creative process for, just what tough characters are, right? I mean, it's the baddest mom ever. Yeah, I loved her in the second flick, right? Anyway, so that's where I'm at with this. These are all the ones I've drawn, right? The rest of this is just getting into the world, and that's it, right? If you watch the other video, I mentioned that there were 5 types of squid, or, engineered super soldiers. There's actually only 4, right? And these are them, right? Kamikaze commandos, innies, infiltrators, honchos, and strike marines, right? I may need more. I may come up with more. But this is just, me going through the basics, right? Where I didn't have any of this planned out before, which is why I really want to. So, right, so there's one of the, the bigger ones, right, with the kind of funny skin, kamikaze one, the Spider-Man looking one, and the Thinker, right? And so, this is other character designs, right? Just trying to get used to drawing mechs in general. So this is what I get, though, for pantsing my story and not doing this stuff ahead of time, right? And not actually pan out, right? And not actually caring enough enough. It wasn't caring. So I was experimenting, right? I guess that's really what it is. I feel like it's not caring because I'm a plotter. I'm a D&D boy. I just So when I pantsed it, I felt wrong. This is what I like doing, in case you couldn't tell. Character design is my bag. So anyway, that's it, right? I've got a few other factions, if you were curious if that was interesting at all to you. I've got the drone army, right? That's China, right? I think I'm calling him the Shenong something or other, right? Because that was like this famous, anyway. The North European utility fighters, right? And they're the new fighters, or some kind of, German, yeah. And so that's this. Whoa, I don't know how that happened. That was really strange. The color palette just changed on me there. Huh. Alright, anyway. Sorry about that, guys. That's really jarring. The sun's setting, that's why. Anyway. So this guy, the quote-unquote German ones, are supposed to be modular in that there's just like one unit that just comes in a few different crazy configurations, just a whole army of them running at you, right? And I'm trying to find a way to realistically make the Chinese army actually a drone army, right? I'm wondering if maybe I should make them the actual Space Marine archetype, where they're the ones in the powered armor, and there's just, billions of them, right? So we'll see. And then, of course, the U.S., which is just, your classic boys, right? Yeah. But then, I've also got the 8 Hands of Vishnu, right? Which I'm trying to make and figure out. Oh, the Framed Combatant Corps. Yeah, that's American era mechs. That's us, right? Skip them, sorry. Then the 8 Hands of Vishnu, right? I looked these up. These 8 Vasus are like, basically they're like elementals, and so I'm kind of, not completely. There's only 4 of them are, right? So, I think I'm going to use that, and yeah, it should be kind of interesting, hopefully. The one I'm having trouble with, though, is trying to represent a country in Africa, right? And so I chose Igbo, right? Which I guess is a Nigerian language. And again, I don't know anything about this, so I'm just, grasping at straws here, Googling my brain out, right? And apparently there's like this idea of the Ogbanje, and see, now I can't, Ndi Dinta, right? Which is like these evil spirits, these wandering spirits. And I'd love to find a way to make it, the ones who hunt the evil spirits, right? Or do something like that. I think it'd be fun, because Ogbanje is just an awesome sounding word, right? And it's really memorable. It's easy to say. And, if it means what I think it means. So, yeah, anyway, if anybody out there speaks Igbo and can check me, and let me know if I'm doing this right, that'd be awesome. Because I'm going to have to, go out there and do it on my own later on, if somebody doesn't volunteer that information for me. Yeah. So maybe I'll have to tweet about this and get some help there. But anyway, that's where I'm at with this, right? Is trying to get, just a few, the drones, the new fighters, the FCC, the 8 palms of Vishnu, or hands, I'll figure that out, right? And then the Ogbanje, right? So, yeah, got to get those other few, countries in there, right? And then what I'm then going to do is then associate those countries, right, to pharmaceutical corporations, right? But I'm just trying to get a style, right, going. Yeah, but that's where I'm at with this character design. And I've got to try to figure out what their internal struggles are. As far as a character design goes, they are overly confident, right? That is that problem of theirs. They have been raised by the best to be the best, and they have no idea really why they're so good at everything it is that they do, because everything it is that they do is mostly flippant and being rude and quick-witted and, getting into fights, right? Because of that, they haven't had to, or haven't been exposed to the portions of their character yet that expose their flaws and their weaknesses, right? And so that's where I want the character to begin, is in a place where they think they know themselves, right, of course, but then they don't, right? And that ends up being that where I'm kind of stuck in this, it ends up being sort of a slice of life kind of thing, just a teen book then at that point. And that's not how I want to resolve it. I haven't written the resolution, and I know, what I want. That's not true. I knew what I wanted it to be, and now I'm not so sure, right? And so that's just the flat out truth, right? Is that I'm having to self-evaluate, is that I made decisions about this book that I'm not married to, right? I just made decisions because I make decisions, and I was willing to pull the trigger. Let's go. And so I'm absolutely willing to change anything, frankly. I'm willing to do, whatever it takes to make this a fun and exciting adventure for, every reader, right? For any reader, So that was the point of the character, and that's still the point of the character and the book, is for anybody to be able to read it and have an awesome adventure. Yeah. So, AuthorTube community and folks out there who are not AuthorTubers who are watching this video and just found it interesting, I would love the advice, right? I need the advice, apparently, right? But that's where I'm at. I'm trying to make a fun little Spitfire that doesn't know why they have the urges to be as rude and as violent as they are. And is young enough and brash enough and settled enough in their successes that they don't feel the need to until story develops, right? And so that's where I want to start it, and we'll go from there, right? Because yeah, they end up being a badass super soldier who is fully enveloped in who they are and their abilities and what it takes to be a super soldier, fully realized at that level, but at the same time, they have to do a parallel full realization of what it means to be a human being, right? Which is, where all that neuromancer stuff comes in and all that, where I didn't really want to incorporate some of that, but as I'm talking it out, those are the parallel storylines of the character, and that is what I have to do. So, that's my goal, folks. Yeah. Hopefully you can help. If not, I'll struggle through on my own. All right. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff to get notifications if you're interested, because I'm having a good time doing this. It's hard making the YouTube videos, I gotta admit. I'm hitting burnout, but other than that, I'm having a great time creating content. So I think I just have to slow down a little bit so, I can be the tortoise and not the hare. All right, guys. You have a great day, and thank you for watching.